over to playing.
Yeah, I'm still patching 34%.
There were a bunch of small patches.
That's what I noticed. I've been patching for about 30 minutes, so...
Yeah, there were... they weren't horrible issues yesterday, but there were 4 or 5 medium issues that were making people scream bloody murder. Hey, John Marcus, thank you very much. I will get that in. You're going to have to stay till the end of the stream, though, so I will send people off with a song. Yeah, like stuff, that some people... hold on, I gotta think. Some people wouldn't think is big, but things like the batch watering wasn't working. So people's crops were going to die. So I had to do an emergency patch for that, and there's another emergency patch after that. And then I've got 2 patches now, so I'm about to push those live.
Hey, I have a really important question.
Yeah?
I saw on our internal chat some new fishes that you're apparently getting, as I see the fish there behind you.
Oh,
tell.
You mean fish in game or my fish?
Your fish, the one. I mean, I presume it's a fish for your fish tank.
Well, yeah. We have sad news. We lost my wife's favorite and second favorite fish. One of them was a ram, which is notoriously a tough to keep alive. And he had babies, and the dads for rams do like a ton of work for him, so it always stresses him out. I was actually tempted to just take him out of the tank so he wouldn't get stressed out, but he stressed himself out, and he passed away. The mighty Thunder died. But then the other one was our blue Glarus killifish. Passed away. We noticed it had been acting a little differently, but didn't notice. And yesterday I noticed it was breathing hard, which normally he does not breathe hard, but I tested the water and it was perfect. So we're not sure what was up. We think he may have had gill flukes, and he may have gotten from another tank that we had gill flukes. We tried moving him once, but we've got a boy replacement and 2 girls coming. Should be here on Tuesday. So exciting that we're getting new fish. Sad that it's replacing.
Nice. Chris, did you realize that you don't have the pictures of the rest of us?
No. That's not it.
The listeners might not have realized that you were actually talking to Richard himself.
Why would it pick that display? Pick that display.
Richard, you're muted.
Oh, you know what? I don't have you guys up. You're on the wrong screen.
There we go. That's getting better.
A little better.
Hey, everybody, we're back.
There we go. All right. This has definitely been one of those weeks that I don't tweet about it, but post on my Facebook page about life is an endless loop of saying that next week will slow down a little bit and you'll be able to catch your breath, and repeat that until you die.
Yeah, I think the older you get, the harder that becomes to manifest as reality.
You get the chat bot up.
Yeah, don't forget to get that prizening thing going, man, because, that's what I'm here for.
Let's see, the prizening thing. Okay, I think that's set up. That should be ready. That's got the same data as last time. For those joining us, you'll notice that we're missing Elgarion. I told him to... he's been working too hard. He has his past jobs were things that had like crazy work ethic, and he's got like a crazy work ethic, and I basically just have to tell him to stop working and go drink. So I told him to take the afternoon off, so he's not here with us today, so we'll see if we survive without him. But we got a full house here with Richard, Sanyo. We got Ravalox there. We got one more guest, one special guest. Joining us here later today, which is going to be one of our old team members, Finn Staber. You guys might remember him, but he did lots of random stuff in the game, and he is one of those guys that loved the project but left to do his own VR stuff. Because VR was his real passion. Hey, thank you very much, Richard.
And by the way, I want to throw out something about Finn too before he's here. I might as well. I could probably.
He's probably
he's here too.
lurking. But go ahead.
But what's interesting about switching to go over to VR, and I will repeat this when Finn's online because I think it's important for him to hear, which is that I have forever been both a virtual reality fan and a virtual reality skeptic. Going back to the Apple II days when we had this, there was actually a headset for the Apple II. It had video screens about the size of your thumbnails. Their resolution was 100 by 100 or something tiny, and the lag was horrific. Made you basically motion sick immediately, and but it was still cool, and we all went like, wow, someday that's going to be great. Maybe 5 or 10 years from now, that's going to be great. Then 5 or 10 years goes by, and it's better to go, wow, this is really cool. 5 or 10 years from now, it's going to be great. And I've been saying 5 or 10 years from now, it's going to be great, up until even not many days ago, frankly. But I've begun to start tweeting and looking at other things showing up, going, I think we're finally getting ready to turn that corner. So the bits I've seen of what Finn is working on right now, I think it's actually pretty darn compelling. So hopefully he'll tell us a little bit more about that. I'm excited to hear what he's up to and where he's at.
Awesome. I'm updating the message of the day. We're still in there. Oh, no, we're supposed to be in our actual stream. Richard, why don't you kick us off here, and then while I finish this up.
All right. Well, hey, welcome everybody to the Friday night live stream, or Friday afternoon or evening. It's nighttime for me. It's about 11 p.m. But welcome. Thank you all for being here in support of the game and in support of the community. As you all know very well, we would not be here. The game would not exist if not for you and your participation with the community and the team to keep it all going here. So thank you very much. Hopefully by now you know the team pretty well. Richard Garriott, Lord British. I've had the great joy of working with the folks that you see here on the stream now for quite some time. You want to go around and introduce yourself, Sanyo? You want to start them off there?
Sure, I'm Keith Quinn, and I go by Sanyo on the forums, and I'm a content designer on Shroud the Avatar. I do quests and player-owned towns and level design, world building, all sort of in that area. Ravlox, go!
Okay, I am Stephen Rynan, and I am known as Ravlox in-game on the forums and other places as well, because I still do play the game. Not much, but I do still play the game. And
in his spare time, he helps run optical fiber cable around property lines.
This is actually correct. You could reach me at 555.
And he's going to craft some rings with you soon too, right?
That's right. Yeah. Well, he's going to be in New York to do the actual crafting, but we are going to film that, and then we're going to have a like a commentary type of situation going on. So we've talked about what we're going to do, and we're going to come out with some nice little film about it and show people how that's done.
For those who don't know, those by the way, are the sales for those closed, or are there any more open before I mouth off something perfectly?
There's still another one sold this week, but I think there's still some left. I forget how many, but there's some left.
Okay, well then go check it out. But for those of you who don't know, even before I started the Ultima series, the D&D group that I was playing with, that all of whom became characters in the Ultima Pantheon, and I would play Dungeons and Dragons in my home in Houston, Texas, where I was just learning to make silver jewelry from my mother, and so I made for my D&D campaigns these rings, one of which I still always wear. It actually has Tolkien Elvish written on the interior of it. And to my knowledge, everyone I made one of these rings for, even as an adult, still wears them. I've only made a couple handfuls of rings in my entire life. But for Shroud of the Avatar, for y'all, I'm going to make a few more. And we'll film the making of them. And I'll make a handful. We'll use the video clip of the whole process for at least one of them to then show, and Ravlox and I will have a chat about the process of making them, and hopefully you'll enjoy that, and hopefully you'll enjoy the rings themselves. And if you haven't gotten yourself a piece of property that comes with a ring, then now might be your last chance. Because once you start making them and set up all the equipment to do it and get through the process, it's unlikely I'll set it up again for years. So get them now. Get them while they're hot.
Richard, they're speculating that you're making these rings, but that you're going to keep the master ring yourself to control these rings for these other.
Now that might be true, and in a very Tolkien way, I can tell you that of this particular ring that I happen to be wearing myself, there are 3, and you may notice that was a number of rings in the Tolkien series. And there was also another set. There was approximately 9. I think it was exactly 9. That was also done. But I won't speak of any master ring, and I won't speak of whether these new rings will be related to those. But there's reasonable odds they are. That's all I'll say.
Sounds good.
All right.
So we're going to be working on that, and then of course I just brought the Bug Brigade to fruition, and we have players that are signing up now, and we're still working on cleaning up the forums and such. The moderator team, Ali, Justin, and Tazar are doing a wonderful job and trying to keep all that under control. And hopefully we'll get to a point where we'll be actually processing bugs in real time.
Awesome. And I owe some people some thanks here before I forget. Thank you, John Marcus, again. I will be singing a song, but I will close out the stream with that and send you guys off with a song, so you'll have the option to abort if you want to. Skeggy, thank you for the raid. Nerd versus Jim, thank you for the follow. Lord British Rules. Aaron Doom, thank you for the 500 bits. Bodacious for the 200 bits. Snore, thank you for the follow. I think I missed one in there because I know there's somebody that gave. Shaner Niner, thank you for the 1500 bits. For some reason, that's not showing up on my this other list. Eurocore, thank you for the follow. And Stymie LLTS, long live the Syndicate. I heard the Syndicon went great with the social distancing and all. And of course, Winfield Paxlayer, thank you. A million times over. And also introduce myself, I'm Chris Spears. I am kind of chaperoning the project along here as the team all moseys towards episode 2. We are doing great, I think. Progress every release, as someone was talking to me today, that they love seeing, that even though we missed some of the goals we'd set for ourselves, I think nobody's 2020 is going exactly how they expected, so I think we get a little bit of a pass on that. But we are still making progress every release. We've got some amazing things. I think some people saw the mount video I posted that may make next release with the initial pass for it. We'll see how that goes. But that's super exciting. Oh, now we got a hype train going. And Shaner Niner, man. 100 emotes shared. Wow. That's like everybody on the stream. Thank you, Shaner Niner and Treasure Pile and Yobneil for 500 bits. Christ Pallid, thank you. HT Genie UK, well, this is going to be a lot of things I'm going to do here in a little bit. Lord British Rules, Bedfist, The Real Black Axe, Hollyhock. Man, so many names. But anyways, guys, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We had a release yesterday. I think most of you saw that we had a few kinks right out of the gate. We have, I think the big one was panicked. A lot of people was the watering breaking for batch watering. I know it didn't panic everybody, but there were a lot of people who were very concerned because of losing crops and whatnot. But managed to get that fixed pretty quick. Hopefully you didn't lose any crops. I know that's a big deal to some people. But we got another patch that actually I'm on right now, 1278, that fixes a few more issues. And then I think we'll probably have one more patch tomorrow, and then that'll probably be it until Monday. But lots of good stuff getting fixed, lots of balanced stuff going in. New scene going in, and tons and tons of stuff. New skill, by the way, that skill in this patch right here got a nice tweak to it. I looked and went and did another test. Actually tried equipping some gear, tried using spec Lots of different stuff. Looked at it, and the end result was I ended up boosting the damage of the new moon spell, Shooting Star. Boosting the damage and boosting the focus cost, so it does even more damage now. Even against undead, it probably will be at least in the same ballpark as the Sunbathe. Searing Ray. Man, I can't even remember the names of my own spells. But anyways, it should be as effective as pretty much anything else out there. As effective as Stone Arrow. Should be awesome. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the hype train. It's going. Anybody want to call out names there?
I'm trying to see what it takes to get to level 3 type train. So I'm jumping in myself a few times there just because. Oh, look at there! Oh, there it goes.
They got it to.
Should we also mention the prizing phrase that pays and all that?
Oh yeah, that's right. We don't have Elgarion. He does all the tedious stuff, the tedious repetitive stuff. Do you want to play the part of Elgarion?
I won't do it as well. I mean, if Richard wants to do it, that's fine. He left us some.
I don't. I'll do the pricing, but I saw the fishing contest stuff go by. But you mean the pricing? I'm happy to do that.
Well, before that even happens, players need to say there's 2 ways to win in the pricing. One is you can buy something from our the online store, and the other way is to say the special phrase, which for this for today it's "wishing I was fishing." Say it in any in-game chat, and then do either of those 2 things, and you're eligible for the prizes. And the prizes include the Ornate Fish Throne, the Replenishing Aerial Gold Ring Fish Combo Fireworks Box, the Ornate Fish Pavers, Fishing Rod of Prosperity, Rustic 3-Story Village Water Home. And do
it. Get in that game and speak that
so
phrase. That's
Yes.
the free way to go. That's the free way to do it because that's law. And or show some love and buy one of the things in the store. That's great too. We'd appreciate that. And we'll give you some time to do that. And then after that, I'm hoping somebody presses a button on the prizing machine so I can read out those prizes.
Yeah. I just pasted that big blurb I said into the chat. I think Elgarion does that too. Hopefully I'm doing at least 10% as good as Elgarion does it, getting the info across.
If you guys hear any scratching while I have my microphone open, it's because my dog is underneath my desk, digging up a bit of carpet on the floor. So apologies.
Oh, it looks like we also have all the fishing contest information here that we'll read out at the end of the stream. That's usually Elgarion's part. But we got a lot of people to thank here. I think Shaner Niner was trying to get us to level 5 there. But thank you all. There's so many people here to thank, but Shaner Niner is driving the train right now, I think. But I've got a ton of questions coming in. We've got a stream guest coming on in just a little while. Oh, Winfield Pax Lair took that personally there. What happened there that pushed us over? Oh,
Here goes.
50, what? I don't even know what that means.
I've never seen it level 5. Have you guys seen level 5? This is my first level 5.
This is the first level 5 I think we've had on the stream. But you should all stop there. I don't know what's at level 5, but it'll distract us too much at this point, as much as I like seeing stuff come in.
Woohoo!
Should we say stuff like, "This is crazy! It's too high!
It is crazy.
Too dangerous!"
Well, I think it's awesome for like the normal streamers out there. We're here to like deliver content and stuff, and I always get distracted. Not that I do not appreciate it immensely. Level 5 complete? So they're on level 6? I think they skipped right by level 4 or level 5.
Well, I'm wondering if there's anything past level 5. I'm now seeing like we're 155% of level 5, so there may not be.
It's not going to catch up. So I should probably get to some questions here. But again, for those who joined us late, we've got one of our old teammates. Finn Staber is going to be joining us. Whoops. Finn Staber is going to be joining us to show off his game. It is going, I forget if it's in early release on Steam. But it's on Steam now. You can go and get it. Go try it out. It's a VR game. Vikings in VR. Very interesting. But anyways, man, we're going to have a lot of people to thank here in a bit. Let me get to some questions here, because I know you guys are asking questions. If you guys are new to the stream, then you should know that you can ask questions by doing !question space whatever. Normally I would have a list of things to talk about all the cool stuff that got done this release. One of the things that got done was all the artifacts should be all fixed up and should be able to go to Epic and should be properly enchantable and masterworked. If they're not already in there, then you probably just need to patch up. There's some more fixes in the very latest build that I'm playing on that you're not on yet. But let's see. Let me get you some questions in case you guys want to pick one out. Bam. And we'll be thanking everybody there. Again, yeah, I think it's stuck on level 5 hype train, 170%. There's been a lot of talk about the mounts, Richard. I showed off a video last stream that people were excited about and already discussing, like, you know, how is it going to be used? Is it going to be used like it could be kind of a, rather than it being just purely a I ride around on it, it can also be like kind of like a teleport scroll where you use it to get from scene to scene quickly without, you know, skip the overworld or something, or teleport to one of your own lots.
That'd be nice.
But they're also talking about flying mounts. So we did talk about flying mounts. We think flying mounts, at least for the time being, will probably be problematic. You should expect probably maybe this, as soon as this release coming up, we will have the base mount, which will just be some of the base horses we have. There's going to be some animation work that needs to get done. I think Justin One and Only is coming along nicely with the tech, though. But content for those.
I really think you guys have done mounts properly when you get a hot air balloon and or a flying carpet. That, you know, the hot air balloon that wanders randomly around the map. You know, as in the old Ultimas, or you know, the flying carpet that you could actually steer around a little bit. Anyway, I'm joking, really, but it'd be fun. Just saying.
So I posted a question this week. You guys can discuss it in chat, since I know a lot of you don't follow my Twitter. But just asked on Twitter the question of mounts. So the way we're going to be doing mounts, again, it's really tough to do mounts where like you're going to have fighting on top of the mount. That like multiplies the problem. Almost every game out there, especially multiplayer games, has done the same thing with mounts. When you're on a mount, if you go inside, it'll either you can't go inside, or it'll knock you off. But the kind of same thing when you enter combat, it'll knock you off your mount. But the questions that I asked was, would you rather have your mount, you go under something? Would you rather like go under a doorway, go through a doorway? Would you rather have it auto dismount you, or would you rather have it block you? What do you think, Richard? Should it block you?
Well, it clearly needs to do one of those two versus just let you intersect. But you know, it seems to be the more natural one be to block you, because if you run into a tree, you're blocked. But I think it might be more fun to make it force you to dismount, like, you know, you went under a tree branch. In fact, I did that once when I was with my sister riding horseback at summer camp one year. As I ducked, my sister was riding the same horse with me. She did not duck. She hit the tree branch and was dismounted. So, you know, the dismount sounds fun.
So I see this is kind of the same response I was getting on my Twitter feed, though. I asked that question, and everybody, whatever they said definitely whatever. Everybody was very firm on their belief of how it should work. But it was split about 50-50, kind of like chat here is split about 50-50 of auto dismount or make you just block you. So there's a couple things. One is if you auto dismount, then it takes some of the control away from you, and you ride up to a house or you ride by a tree, and maybe you thought you were going to go under, and all of a sudden you're off your horse, and it could be annoying. So I see reasons to have it be forced manual, but I think this may be one that we end up making it a option for the player. I mean, I kind of know the tech behind it, and it should be a pretty easy option for the player, but it's, again, everybody seems to have a strong opinion except for Snizzle TV.
Sure people have a strong opinion or an opinion? In the sense of, I'm not sure you should bother making the option, to my mind. The world ought to work one way or the other. You know, the world ought to just say, you know, you can't ride if you're sticking up off the top of your horse. You obviously can't go under that arch. Or the world ought to say, hey, you dumbass, if you're willing to go under that arch when you're sticking up off the top of your horse, the horse goes a few steps farther, but you don't.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to be able to go. You're not going to be able to go under it. It's a question of, do you stop when you hit like a doorway, or? But yeah, we'll see. Everybody has an opinion, though.
I mean, we're talking about doorways, but we need to consider like you're saying, like tree branches, street lights, overhangs, caves, rocks, moss.
Whatever blocks.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be.
Is there any way to separate thresholds from the rest of the stuff that would block you?
I mean, that's kind of why we had said for a long time we didn't want to do mounts and we were putting it off, is because there's a lot of, like, you know, we can do the mount part of it. That's a lot of work just due to character state machine and animation state machine and getting all that stuff working and hooking in a whole new movement state. But the bigger thing is the content tweaking. There's going to be a lot of places where we're going to have to go and, like, touch stuff. I don't know that we're going to be able to touch everything. One of the examples I was thinking of places we may have to go touch everything or else it's going to be super annoying is, you know, like the stone archways when you leave a scene. Like every third scene has some type of big stone archway.
Yeah.
And if that ends up being just low enough, so every time you jump on your horse and you're riding towards the scene exit and you get to the scene exit and you get knocked off your horse, you have to get back on your horse. So there's going to be some of that type tweaking that's going to have to go on. But for doorways, I think we're going to have to, there's going to be a lot of trial and error that goes on for that. So we'll try and get that. I don't think it's that far off.
Knocks
Make
you
it
off the horse.
QA.
What about like angles? What if there's like sort of like a like we have some doorways that are like almost triangular shaped.
Mm-hmm.
How does it know where the
Well,
top is?
So if it is you don't get knocked off, it'll do what it does for normal movement. It's basically expanding your capsule to fit the horse, and then you'll hit it and you'll slide along it until you can either get through or you can't get through, is what would happen for the triangle door top. For the auto dismount, you'd touch it and you'd instantly be off, even though you didn't want to.
It sounds like the blocker one to me. Maybe is a little less troublesome as far as like having to go back and fix things and tweak things.
Oh, I missed it. Apparently the hype train ended. Did they get to 200%?
We did get to 200%. It did not help.
Yeah, I'm just wondering for like those giant streamers who get, you know, have tens of thousands of people watching. I wonder, surely it doesn't stop at 5 for those guys.
I don't know. We'll have to try again and find out.
All right. Well, when I go to do the roll, oh, it's past time to do the roll. So let me start the roll going, and then I need to get. I was going to call Finn on here.
Wishing I was fishing.
Wishing I was fishing. You guys want to each? I'm giving you an assignment here. At least Ravalox. I'll give Richard a pass if he wants it. Ravalox and Sanyo, if you guys want to pick a question, you can answer there because I'm going to go thank people and start the roll for the prizing.
I'll go first because there's no great questions for me.
Okay.
I did see Game Request ask, can we please get a shepherd's crook for role-playing tamers? Do we not have a shepherd's crook, symbol of humility?
That is, yeah, that's got to happen. I can't believe we don't have that.
I'm shocked too, so get on it.
I'm going to make a Jira, give it to Damon as on his to-do list right now.
I always get people asking about socketing stabs, and that's one that I did mean to get in. It is not in there yet. I did fix a bunch of those other annoying ones you guys had, like crushing blow not working and some of the missing artifacts. But let me do a quick thank people while... and let me add that Finn guy here in a second.
And I'm going to answer a question that the real Black Axe asked.
Okay.
He was saying he was looking at the 1985 D&D module called Thunderdelve Mountain, and noticed that Tracy Hickman was a part of creating it. And he saw the runic that was in there, and he was wondering if I give the runic idea to Tracy Hickman or vice versa. And the answer is neither. We actually both were inspired by Lord of the Rings. And so, 5 feet wide the door and 3 men walk abreast, stand by the greystone when the first knocks, and the setting sun of last rays of the setting sun of Durin's Day will shine upon the keyhole. Inspired both of us to think that those runes, which even Tolkien plagiarized from the actual Druidic runes. In fact, the way I found them, other than Tolkien, was by looking up in the literal physical Encyclopedia Britannica. And so I came up with a slight variation from Tolkien just by having a slightly different resource that he probably did. And the same thing for Tracy. So it was really Tolkien that inspired us both, and Tolkien was inspired by actual Druidic runes that are the forerunners to the Latin alphabet that we all use. So anyway, that's the answer to that question.
Let me give some people some thanks here. Thank you, Gadra71, Brill, long live the Syndicate. Lord British Rules, of course. I'm not going to say your name anymore, though. You get no more credit. The Real Black X, thank you for 1,000, and I think you gave some more elsewhere there. Lancel, thank you. No, I've still failed you. In case you're wondering, I'm sure you know that. The Radicus 2K, thank you very much. John Marcus, again, thank you. Aob Neal, man, 1,000 bits, thank you very much. Snizzle TV, The Real Black Axe, again. Bodacious 88, 10 subs. Shaner Niner, I don't even know what this means or what the value is, but 50 Tier 1 community subs from Shaner Niner. I think he's the, he and Winfield, who gave out 20 just before that, pretty much pushed us over the 5x whatever. I think that's pushing us towards 200%. Vic Cannon, thank you very much. Shaner Niner again. T-Branch again. Gamer Quest. Bodacious 88. Lord British Rules a bunch. Aob Neal, 5 gifts. Dark and Obscuro. Skeggy Media. Vic Cannon. Aaron Doom. Oh, man, so many people. Bad Fast. Hollyhock. So I just want to say whoever at Twitch came up with that hype train thing, they need to give that guy a big raise, because, yeah. I'm sure this generates millions for Twitch, so. Christ Palette, thank you very much. HTK Uni Eurocore. Okay, I think that's probably it. Did Finn ever get on? Let me see if he's on there. Richard, do you want to read out the prizing while I try to figure out how to get Finn on?
Thank you very much. The prize bot has spoken by rolling some numbers and pulling out some data. And for those of you who said wishing I was fishing or made a purchase, thank you for either one of those. And here are the prizes. The ornate fish throne goes to Blackbeard. Yes, a very appropriate person to get an ornate fish throne to sit on your piratey, seafaring throne. The replenishing aerial gold ring fish combo fireworks go to Lucien Demort. Lucien Demort, you have the replenishing aerial gold ring fish combo fireworks. And the ornate fish papers go to Lumax Olfulson. Lumax Olfulson, you have the ornate fish papers. The fishing rod of prosperity, a very useful tool, goes to Cleo. Cleo, you have an ornate, you have a fishing rod of prosperity. That would be great. And the rustic 3-story village water home goes to, oh, here's my tough one for the night, Asmodi Mahal. Asmodi Mahal, you have the rustic 3-story village water home. I hope you all enjoyed them thoroughly, and thank you very much for supporting the game. Thank you very much for saying wishing I was fishing or buying something in the store.
And also, in case we forgot to mention it, I did put it in the message of the day, but hold on. Talking to Finn. But we do have a sale going on now through Labor Day. There's also going to be a crown sale, or not a crown sale. The crown sale is going. The rapid fire sales in game are going. The thing I'm working on right now is trying to get the deed sale going. That may not happen until tomorrow morning. It'll just be a deed sale. We kind of moved the base price to be where our previous deed sales were, so this will be a little bit on top of that. So it'll be a little bit more discount, but not a huge amount more.
Excellent.
And I may have added the wrong Finn Staver. Let me try this again.
Oh, that hurt.
Maybe it's that one? The other one says Austin, Texas.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there's 2 of them there. Let me try adding that one.
And
We
now
might get a stranger on here.
Show up on our stream.
That'll be fun if if a stranger shows up.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Fabulous.
If a stranger shows up, it's not like it's nonchalant, like we know them. We've known them for our whole lives.
Hello.
Hey!
Hey, it is the right one. All right, so there's 2 on there. There's one that says Austin, Texas. I think you have 2 accounts. When I used that email you gave me, it pulled up the other one there.
All those Finn Stavers, there's a lot of those.
Yeah. That's what we were saying. We were hoping a random dude would show up on the stream who would be surprised and talk to us.
Yeah, I got my Viking quarantine beard
Yeah.
grown out for the new Viking game launch, so it's fitting.
Nice.
We're gonna preparing a cool cool promo trailer that's gonna be Viking centric. So the last month I've just been letting it grow.
Hey, Finn. Hey, I said something before you arrived that I'd like to repeat in your presence. That was, and I know you've heard me kind of give this framework before. That throughout my entire career, going back to literally the late '70s, early '80s, I've always been a huge VR fan, but simultaneously a VR skeptic in the sense of the early things available on the Apple II with these little thumbnail size monitors and terrible lag. It always made us think that, hey, 10 years from now, this is going to be great. And 10 years would go by, and we'd look at the next levels of technology. We go, hey, this looks pretty cool. 10 years from now, this is going to be great. And then I've repeated that every, anytime you ask me, hey, the state of the art is pretty cool, and 10 years is going to be great. But I actually think we've finally begun to turn the corner. The hardware has actually now finally become light enough and fast enough and full view enough and low enough latency enough where that now allows, that's facilitating the creation of content that is really, and even as you started this project, you and I talked about this a lot, and I even expressed to you this healthy skepticism, to put it as nicely as possible, that this could be pulled off. But the stuff you've been sending around recently that you're letting me take a peek at, I'm going like, wow, you have cracked a really important nut. So anyway, I'm very excited to hear what you have to tell us tonight. I'm obviously been excited to follow you and the development of this. So tell us what you got.
Well, thank you. We definitely hold the inspiration of Ultima and what I learned working with you there to regard a lot of what we put into this game. So I don't know if Chris, if you wanted to show the video, the trailer, can you do that? I don't know how to.
Yeah, let me see what the easiest way to do it. I think this might be the easiest way, is just throw it up full screen over you guys. Let's see.
The Viking combat game in virtual reality, we wanted to go really push the immersion factor, really take the kind of spell casting and progression and all those kind of RPG elements into account, while also removing all needs for a traditional user interface, which is unique, right? Everything's reach out and grab stuff instead of opening up menus and clicking on things. So that's definitely a big challenge whenever you're going in that direction. We developed this game during the quarantine, which is an interesting thing to do. Kind of we're juggling some really big location-based entertainment projects. We built a really cool game called Laser League that we won some awards at CES on, and it was set to debut at South by Southwest in a big booth with a $10,000 grand prize on esports tournament and stuff, and just it all just kind of fizzled. We're going to be opening a bunch of Dave & Buster's and Center-Tech locations, a bunch of malls everywhere, had plans to pop this thing up. So we went from, the plan of deploying 50 of those this year to LBE being basically hit the pause button. You know what I mean? The location-based entertainment market just isn't there right now. So we just kind of, we had played around with this Viking kind of combat already, but we just doubled down and dug in, and it was a lot of fun. So the premise is basically at the beginning of the game, a giant dragon kills your brother and then kills you, and you awaken in Valhalla to the voice of Odin, and basically the warrior's reward for dying in battle is to echo in battle for all eternity in Valhalla. And so the premise is you are kind of traveling back, almost like the Divine Pilgrimage kind of story, but also have somewhat of an avatar as a ghost. It's this memory of past warriors, and it's cool. It's a fun game to experiment with. Unlockable spells and a wide variety of enemies and stuff. And so we just launched on early access last week. So it's an honor to be asked to come and jibber jabber about it here to the community. Because I don't know a community that has been more supportive, of a cool game like Shroud of the Avatar. And so, yeah, when we launched last week with a Echoes of Battle mode, right, for early access, which is basically like endless combat with just a variety of enemies and kind of AI patterns and stuff that we felt like we could push that out to the community, start for one, as an indie developer, start generating revenue on the content that we've developed. Because it's a really fun, sword swinging, axe swinging, hacking apart, limbs and decapitations kind of game. So we wanted to get that out there, and we built it in a way that we can refine and iterate the flow and the difficulty and how they're chopping apart and how they're getting up and how they're reacting and they're dodging and parrying and blocking and more spells, more frequency, bigger enemies. And so we built this level to kind of be a test case as of all the different kind of enemies we might encounter, whether they're distant or up close or a giant brute or what the different kind of ways that you can interact with these enemies. And so that's what we've pushed out to the community right now is the Echoes of Battle mode. But we have the Journey Through Elysium mode that is in the works, which is multiple levels, very much more I don't want to say linear, but there's exploration, it's open, there's encounters rather than just, kind of a centralized wave space. So I think that's going to open up to a lot of a bigger player base even liking it. So, I mean, but it's been a great launch week. Hundreds of people reaching out, loving it. Lots of YouTube videos already of some really awesome people freaking out over the giant spiders jumping on their face and stuff, So it's pretty cool, We actually got a request to put like a no spiders mode in there because some people just freak out with giant spiders in virtual reality. So we incorporated that, and we're just incorporating a whole bunch of other stuff. Somebody asked for no blood, so we put a no blood mode and then an extra bloody mode. So I figured if we're going to include a no blood mode, we need a super gory mode. It's pretty much one of the most visceral, gory games I've played. I mean, it's right up there with, like, some of the new Walking Dead and some of these other games.
Okay, well, but by the way, if you're going to do gore, extra gore, and no gore, then I'm going to have to throw a challenge at you. It just goes back to the old origin Crusader No Remorse. And one of the things that we had the most fun with in developing Crusader was the ways people could die. And if you got electrocuted, you might turn to a dusty crisp and fall to the ground. My favorite one, of course, was when you caught on fire, you would run around just screaming in horror and falling down and then burning to a crisp. And so if you've got extra gory mode on, and I'm waiting for the get doused with oil and throw a torch on them way to die. So
yeah, you can. There's a corpse explosion, so you can explode them with a hellfire skull. You can decapitate them, and if it already spews blood out of their neck stub, and you see like their vertebrae and stuff. But if you have extra bloody, it's extra bloody, And so that's a good point. We were thinking of like some of the fun achievements that are involved in kind of that hardcore gore, and. So we're kind of shooting for controls similar to Half-Life Alyx, because I feel like Valve has really set the standard in the VR industry with that game. The controls are just spot on, and so we tried to match very closely the lasso grab we call it that Valve kind of coined and created. That's what we call it, lasso grab, because we're from Texas, I guess. But you basically reach out, and it's a great almost. If you haven't played VR, but you have played Half-Life, they have a gravity gun, and being able to grab stuff from a distance and pull it to you, but then have that in a gestural functionality for the flick of the wrist, so you can basically kind of point the stuff. You get this iridescent kind of line arcing to the object that you're pointing at. You pull the grip, and the line becomes more opaque. And then if you flick your wrist a little bit, it sucks it up to your hand. And so it's this like kind of grab what you want from a distance kind of feature that allows you to grab and point to things while not pointing to things, because you're actually opening your hand to something, almost like you're using the Force. You know what I mean? And so those are just some of the kind of interesting hurdles that you come across when developing for VR that don't really exist in any other medium. Because other mediums are made for a dual analog controller or a keyboard and mouse, whereas VR, you're limited to what you can do with your thumbs and pointer fingers, you know what I mean, and the gestures of moving your arms around and not making it tedious or cumbersome, you know what I mean? So
Finn, first they have a question as to why you were not speaking like a Viking, but I still have not actually shown the video. I thought I'd let you give a little talk, so let's let them watch the video, and then you can come back. You can practice your Viking voice. So let me get to turn my speakers back on so they can actually hear things.
Okay.
Where'd it go? There it is. Okay, ready? Here we go. Now we'll actually watch it.
Death comes to us all. In the end, even the mighty will fall.
Should we watch one of the other ones too?
Even the mighty will fall, but surely not Lord British, because, you know, I'm from the immortality flag set, right?
Who turned it on?
That always works, right?
And for those who are joining late, this is of course in VR, so if you're wondering what the interface is for this.
That's awesome. Those head chops are phenomenal.
Yeah, and you showed the beginning of one in this particular film that I think I saw on either a rough cut or something you showed me earlier about if you impaled a foe on that sword, it actually is sort of stuck on the sword in a way, right? I mean, it's it's like got some really nice physics, you know, the body flopping physics, you know.
Yeah, that's another one of those interesting things, right? It's like, you have ragdoll and stabbing, you can decapitate their heads, you know, skewer them like a shish kebab. But then what we found was, like, as soon as we can stab through a body, well, now we want to stab through a body and stab it into a wall and mount him to the wall, right? And have him try to fight his way off the sword that's stabbed into the wall. And those are kind of the way those features sometimes evolve, is like, you know, it's like you build a feature, you try something, and then that gives you another idea, and then you experiment. And so it's been fun because, you know, there are a handful of virtual reality combat games already that have been made, but they're usually the more popular of the VR games. They seem to fit very well with the genre. You know, our past game, Baby Hands, was kind of the absolute 180, you know, kind of Nick Jr. friendly, zany, retro, little kid toys kind of game where you're a baby crawling around the house in virtual reality. And so this is, you know, to go in a direction of absolute, you know, mayhem and gore and monsters and orcs and demons and hellfire and just, you know, the cool, the idea of like unlocking runes, traveling through levels with quests in mind that, you know, unlock a virtue or another quest that have you go back to another level that has a resultant because of the things that you've done in the game or the choices that you've made. I think that's
unlocking virtues. That's clearly a very good plan.
Well, I think that's, you know, where we want to be, right? I mean, as games evolve, you know, I was watching that High Score last night, and I saw you appear on there, and I was like, you know, like the conversations that we had about, you know, Ultima 4 and the idea of the cause and effect. And I remember, you know, whenever I was young, building a PC and, you know, getting Ultima 4 and discussing it, reading about it in PC Gamer and all this, you know, that was the key feature that it seems, you know, and in that High Score game, that High Score documentary, it kind of starts flashing forward to all the more recent games that spilled out of Ultima, you know, and the idea of the cause and effect kind of virtue structuring the end resultant of the game, and new quests that, you know, or quests that you have to basically replay in a different kind of avatar's space in order to play as that character, you know. And of course, Skyrim did an amazing job with that. A wealth of different spider webs of you know, decision trees and stuff. But where we were kind of thinking of this game, because we don't, for one, we're an indie team. We're all self-published and kicking ass that way, but we didn't want to create something that was so vast that it wouldn't work for VR too. So it's a balance of making it in depth and vast, while also somewhat putting a leash on it so it doesn't get unruly and not able to finish like a lot of these larger VR games. You see them ride early access forever. We've been working on several titles for some pretty cool partners recently. One in particular that is a huge IP, and so we can't really afford to think of this game as a 2-year game, and build a wealth of different kind of trees and make decision trees and stuff and make it a $40 or $50 game. It just doesn't make sense for VR. Because the player base wants a $20 game, right? And they want to consume it at 30 minutes to an hour at a time, because you're wearing it on your face and you have to get up and do it. I mean, especially this game, you're swinging axes around, you're swinging your hands around, and after an hour that you're going to sit down on the couch and pull that headset off and be like, whoo, like your heart rate gets going, especially as monsters and stuff start jumping at you. So it's just a different kind of an experience, and we have, like I said, another big title in the works, as well as a pretty cool plan to kind of expand on what we want to do with Shadow of Valhalla, and basically, push these other levels out, the other cool, kind of pathway to hell, if you will, that you'll travel in the afterlife, and then it's just been cool to experiment with this kind of tech. I've been experimenting with the volumetric video capture recently, doing a cool Valkyrie warrior woman that revives you, and doing volumetric video capture of that, and then being able to have a real 3D representation of a character in the space with you is phenomenal. I don't know if you've ever seen volumetric video capture, but it's phenomenal. And you can do it in AR, and plop the character down, and it looks like the character's in the room with you, and that's kind of cool and all. But the thing is that photogrammetry, it kind of creates a plastic-looking shell on any kind of 3D. If you've ever seen a scanned person's face, it kind of looks like they're wrapped in cellophane or something, right? Because it's a 3D mesh that was generated off of their pixel data. And so what we've found out is by making it transparent and wraith-like and wispy, you can get rid of a lot of that uncanny valley of it not looking quite right like a living human, right? It's a wraith. It's a spirit. You know what I mean? And so that's pretty cool. And so just fun to be experimenting with this kind of new tech. Volumetric video capture, I compare it to remember whenever 128 megabyte thumbstick was $200, and that was a good deal. Right when they were first coming out, it was thumbsticks were the best way to have data transfer, and I remember buying 128 megabyte thumbstick for $200, and it was a good deal. And now,
but you kids, you children out there, I remember buying 16K of chips for well over $100. So I don't want to hear your megabytes for $100. It's
well, but I guess my point is that the thumbsticks are still there. They're still definitely still the easiest of data transfer tool. It looks exactly the same as it did 15 years ago, but the cost and efficiency of a thumb drive is so exponentially greater that's where we are right now with volumetric video capture and the efficiency of that becoming game ready assets. So as we get the algorithms, and machine learning builds its own algorithms to create better compression and more efficient data processing, we're going to start seeing cutscenes of volumetric video inside of video games. I really think so. Within the next couple of years, I think there's going to be a lot more AAA titles putting real people into video games, because it works and it looks really cool, especially in VR, where you can move around and see the depth of it looks, because the small things are the triggers. It's the muscles around the eyes and the way somebody shifts their body when they're breathing. those small subtle things that make it feel like it's not a 3D model. It's not a 3D animation at all. It's a real person there in the space with you, and that's really cool. It's very if you've ever tried it, we have some cool demos too up on our website on chickenwaffle.com, and you can see we have a cool set of these guys doing LARPing, sword fighting, and we put them in a 3D battle arena that we have in Shadow of Valhalla, because one of the memories that you go back to was when you were young, you were sold as a gladiator slave and taken to the southeast. And so basically, it's kind of the gladiator story of kind of like Conan, whenever he was young and taken and sold to be a gladiator child, you know what I mean? So that's kind of you as a youth. And then there's another one where you're on a beachhead and there's cool Viking ships and you're defending your village by hordes of invading Vikings. We were just talking today about doing the cool castle siege where you're up on the castle and taking out you got a trebuchet and got to cut the cord on the trebuchet and launch a giant boulder and knock out a fucking huge orc or a giant ogre or something, take out a giant somehow, and fighting dragons, fighting large creatures. That's an interesting thing to approach whenever you're first person in VR. It's one thing when you have a third person game because you can kind of design around what the camera can do and how, but in VR, it's very immersion breaking if you get right up to the base of a giant creature like that, you know what I mean? And so that's been interesting, is kind of just designing the AI patterns and the process and flow of what this game's going to be.
All right.
That's really cool, and it's cool to see the demo. I think, as I told you separately, directly offline, off here, I'll be back in the States myself here on Monday, and I look forward to powering up my own VR stuff back home and getting a chance to check it out. So,
Nice.
Anybody else? I hope you can all get a chance to check it out too, Finn. Our casa y su casa, and so
Thank you
our
for
community
everything
is your
y'all done.
community. You're part of our family, so thrilled we can support you on this launch. I hope it all goes great.
Nice. Thanks,
All
Richard.
right.
Good to see you, Keith.
Good to see you.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for having me. It was an honor to be a part of it. And like I said, if y'all want to see more, it's Shadow of Valhalla is on early access on Steam, and chickenwaffle.com has a slew of different cool stuff, as well as we're giving away a custom Valve Index and a custom Oculus Quest. We're also doing a cool thing with Alienware that we'll be announcing pretty soon here for some other really awesome VR hardware giveaways. So we have a beta sign up. So if anybody wants to go to chickenwaffle.com and sign up for our beta, you'll get access to early stuff. Plus, that's how you put your name in the list for free swag.
Nice.
Excellent.
All right.
Swag.
Thanks
great.
again. Good luck with
Great
everything.
to see you, Finn.
Great
Bye,
seeing
guys.
you, Finn.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
And speaking of swag, I think it's time for prizing. That's what I think.
Sorry, let me make sure we
Absolutely.
didn't get any dupe names. We've been having that bug where sometimes we get a dupe. Okay, looks good. No dupes in there. Who wants to read it? Who wants the honor?
Well, I've been doing it a lot. Would somebody else like to do it? Steven? Quinn?
Come on, Ravalox. Can you do it like a Viking?
Oh, yeah, like a Viking. That's important.
Oh, jeez.
Not
All right.
like a Canadian, like a Viking.
My Viking is not going to come out like Viking, I'm sure of it.
All right, well.
It's probably more like pirate, but
I'm not even sure how I would do Viking if I had to. So I'm
Yeah.
like really curious to see how you interpret the word Viking.
oh well, Viking, of course. Yes, there is no V.
All right,
Okay.
well, read it off. Go quick.
The ornate fish throne goes to Bubbles. See, it's not going to work.
No.
Replenishing Ariel Gold Ring Fish Combo Fireworks goes to Audacious. Ornate Fish Pavers goes to Oberic. The Fishing Rod of Prosperity to Lord Doomstrike. And the rustic 3-story village water home, which of course will be pillaged at the proper time, goes to Steel Thunder.
Well done. Not especially Viking-like, but well done.
Yeah.
I've been a little side note. I've been trying to. I've been watching videos on how to speak with an Icelandic accent to try to give the NPCs in the episode 2 areas, like the Norgarders, to give them a little bit of a stronger northern accent for art stuff. And so I based some of it. It's not too tough, there's like yas and nays and bless and all that. But just a little bit of flavor here and there that's kind of like a little bit of an Icelandic spin to the way the new Norgarders speak in Strender.
And let's
Maybe
see.
like Yorks on this. Yep, like York.
Have we had any updates on, and not to put you on the spot here, Richard, without giving you any warning up, but Book 2. Any updates on Book 2?
No new updates, but again, there actually may have been movement. I'm just not aware of it. As you know, COVID sort of disrupted everybody. I myself sort of fled with my family here away from the United States. I'm coming back, as you may have heard, on Monday, and I've been off of email for the most part and things while I'm out here. So apologies, but next week I should be back fully online. And so I'll try to dig that out and have a better report for you in the next week or two.
All right, just came up as one of the questions. I thought that was one for you. Always like to get questions to you when you're here for them. Let's see. And there's questions. I put some new questions in there if you guys want to grab some. Godra71, how can I send Chris goodies? I miss sending Chris peanut chews every year. People, for those who don't know, a long time ago, before my wife yelled at me about 100 times, I would always be eating on stream. For a while it was pork rinds, but it was people started sending me lots of different food stuff. Catnip Games does actually have a business address. I'll have to get that and put it out there for you. But if anybody wants to send me peanut chews, is welcome. Let's see. Leilu420 asks, can we have a 10x XP event for Labor Day? So I think 2x is enough. Again, I think people, I mentioned before that 2x was going to be going away, and instead we're going to be adjusting a lot of the experience in game to be more rewarding. So rather than have the 2x, kind of do what we did with the quest, where we put it on high, multiply for a while, but then really we need to just go back and try and fix the actual problem quest. So I'm going to try to do that with some of the creatures. So the 2x experience is going to officially die I think the day after Labor Day, or day after, Labor Day. So when the sale ends. So I wanted to make sure we didn't end it before the sale ends, because that would be bad business, which is actually originally what we had planned.
I want to add into that. If anybody knows of any quests where the quest reward, the gold or the experience is off, it doesn't feel appropriate for the scenes that you're being sent to, or the length of time you're being spent, or the effort, then submit a bug to the forums, and I'll look it over, and maybe it needs to be adjusted. There's a ton of quests out there that probably do need that, smaller ones especially, so definitely bring it up, because there's a good chance we'll change it.
Awesome. And tons more questions there, and I'm getting more still in here. So probably not a 10x XP thing. We may do something again once I adjust things up. It's kind of what we've done with the deed sale, and that's continue. We try to make sure, I think it's at a more fair price for the normal, and then we can have sales on top of that. So again, for the XPs, I'm going to be adjusting things so they're more fair, more appropriate for the difficulty of the thing, and then we can have 2x experience points on that occasionally. But 10x is a little bit much. That really would just push you up, unless I turned up attenuation to sky high. Let's see. Any chance that VR will revisit Ish for Shroud? Again, this is one of those things that the tech side of things for it is actually really not that hard in terms of just the base side displaying with VR. It's all the interface and how do you handle, you use pretty much every key on the keyboard. For those of us who know our keyboards and don't have to look at them, it's not a problem. But for those who have to look at their keyboards, Richard can't tell, but I'm staring right at him, for not being a touch typer. But anyways, it's difficult. not having an interface in there. So it's fixing up the interface. It is also all the texture and all the different stuff that will look weird. As Ben was commenting on things in VR, you get close to them and they fall apart. But having a VR-ish experience is, from Shroud, could happen. But having the entire game of Shroud in VR, again, we could do it. It would just be super punishing for you guys. But maybe that's something a while back, a few weeks ago, I had a build that I did on a newer version of Unity, and I just was like, people wanted to try it out, so I had them try it out, give me feedback on it. So maybe we could do the same thing with VR sometimes. I'll do a build and just turn on VR so you can play Shroud in VR and see what it looks like, and then you can all hate me. Because another one of those VR things is having a very high frame rate and a very consistent frame rate. Well, we have pretty high frame rate. Most of the time, I think you guys know, it can be fairly inconsistent. Let's see. We're getting kind of close to the end here. For those who don't know, I'll also do a stream on probably Wednesday-ish, and I did one last week, and tried to get through most of the questions you guys send me. I keep a running log of those questions. You guys have anything you want to pull out of there? I'm going to go try to grab... Oh, we need to do the updates. Who wants to do the updates? Who wants to play the part of Elgarion and do all the update stuff that he had in there? Fishing prize winners?
I'll do it again.
Fishing contest. Wasn't there? I saw the fishing contest day to go. Don't forget that.
Yep.
Yep. So I'll read that off right now. Fishing contest winners. Oh man, this is. So I'm trying to figure out which is the name. I guess it's the name, what he caught and such. Okay, so Astrither Amzel got a Tiger Shark, 4.38 ambiguous units, and Dragomir Mori, and got. So I guess he got the Pot Towns Award, player-owned town robot deed, and a large gold fishing trophy. Oh man, I'm already terrible. Big Mac caught a Tiger Shark, 4.15 ambiguous units, and Verdanta Shardfall. I guess it's PvP award, 2-chained Obsidian Shard 3-packs, and a large silver fishing trophy. Lijuan Zhang got a Pliosaurus at 7.11 ambiguous units and Spectral Mines. It's the Lava Award, which is Fishing Rod of Prosperity, large bronze fishing trophy. And then maybe I'll also jam in. So congratulations, fishing contest winners. In the community events section here, there's no Catnip Games fishing tourney this week. Instead, it's replaced by Famines contests. And there's a link to that, which I will put in the chat just now. Boom, there it is. And then Elgarion says he will deliver the prizes Saturday morning. I can deliver Saturday morning with the fishing contest prizes. So there you go. He's going to take care of that for you.
What about the firework contest? Is there any update on that?
He did not have that in his list.
Gotcha. Well, I guess we could say that in, I think it's 2 days, real Earth time, 2 days Earth time, that the Novia will reach the year 600.
Woo-woo.
So we are having a bit of a celebration. There's a contest for the best fireworks show. Take a look on the forums for information on that, because of course I don't have the information in front of me. And a bunch of us devs, Richard, if you can come along, are going to set off fireworks on Novia as well as part of the celebration.
Yeah, you can do that now. People didn't know.
And also, we've got the system set up now so we can enable which runes which spells or effects or consumables or whatever can be used on Novia. So if you have any requests for that, just ping one of us and we'll get it added in if it makes sense. So, let's see. So I think the next thing, I'm looking for a song to sing here. You guys want to answer one more question while I find a song? And that's to send people out so that they don't have to... suffer
this
through
question I
with me.
saw that actually is for you, Chris, but I don't know the answer.
Okay.
So Waxman007 asks, do we need a barn to use mounts? So I think the broader question is, how will you summon a mount, and where does it go when it goes away?
So the plan is right now the way it's hooked up is it is a consumable, not a consumable, but a an item that you can put on your taskbar,
So it's
your
not a whistle.
non-combat bar. We weren't planning on, but again, this is one of the things I said I was going to have at least one stream where all we do is we sit there and talk through some of this stuff with the players to make sure, because we have our ideas of how this stuff should work, and then we hand it to the players and they tell us the 100 reasons why that's stupid sometimes. A lot of times it's just opinion, but it's good to get other people's opinions, because I honestly would have not expected it to be so split in terms of like people, do you auto dismount? Like that type stuff. So hearing opinions from people on that type of stuff is important. So we'll talk to them about it. And that's the other one that I think we've talked a little bit about internally, but still have not come to a complete decision. Is can you convert? Like, how do you get the horses? Mounts?
Yeah.
Do you convert a pet? Do you convert a tame pet so you have to tame it and then you do mounts? I think the tamers would like that, because then it creates even more markets for them, so they can go out and capture unicorns and nightmares and stuff like that.
I did a little bit of taming in UO and some other games, and I not that I sold them, but I did tame some things to give to my friends, and that was always good. Made me feel good about
Yeah,
myself.
and by the way, I endorse that too. I think anything else we can do to increase traffic player to player, that's always a plus. So.
But this isn't necessarily something you tame. It's not a pet. So in that case, with that in mind, a whistle would not be appropriate in my eyes, because it's a separate thing. It's more of a utility than a pet that follows you around or.
But having a simpler user interface, I think, could be beneficial. Whether it's a whistle or not, whether it's it could be a set of car keys, whatever, metaphor.
Yeah. Just mentioning the bridle, I think that something like that might be okay.
Yeah.
As a visual. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then it never exists, I guess, when you're not sitting on it, I guess. So when you get kicked off, it probably feels away. So there is no barn, to go back to the original question. You don't park it anywhere. You don't bring it to a tamer and store it somehow.
So that's one of the other ones that is kind of on the edge of, like, do we allow people to, because you can have a horse, like, a pet horse or whatever,
Right.
a tamed horse. Do we let people have the horse follow them around? Is that, again, it's when you get knocked off the horse is kind of the weird thing. We don't want to have players who get knocked off the nightmare and then the nightmare starts fighting alongside. We kind of want to make those two things separate and split.
Yeah.
Hey Chris, your fish are making off with your one of the tubes there behind
They're
you.
jerks. There's I think it's the dojo loaches keep going up, and there's a tube that is part of the filter in the back that they keep going up, getting themselves between, and then knocking it loose, and then they drag it around the tank. I'm splitting them up this weekend. There's going to be we got another tank that we're going to put half of them into, but that big snake-like thing is probably the guy who knocked it off. But yeah.
E
Midnight says, I want a mountain pole pig/boar.
Back on the mounts, I vote for as close to a solution that has the most continuous existence as possible. Anyway, whatever works, whatever players want.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It'll be fun no matter how it goes. I'm looking forward to it. And kind of like related to the mountain pole pig or boar, we definitely have brought up a lot of. We keep suggesting weird things behind our scenes in our little private chat. There's definitely a lot of things we would like to see as mounts. Some ridiculous stuff. Some sensible things, though. You gotta at least put the sensible things in there.
Okay, well, let me thank some more people, and then I'm going to go pick a stream. Oh, hey, old puppy dog. Oh, thank you, Vegas BLT. Nice to see you on stream there. Lord British Rules, I will not thank you again. Trokip, thank you very much. Viewses, thank you for the follow. Beldurnik, 500 bits, thank you as well. Avener, again, thank you. Shadow Vice, thank you very much. Winfield, Paxlair, thank you guys. And I think it missed a bunch. I'm not sure how this keeps missing. The stream manager thing in Twitch isn't showing all the ones that come in. But, again, guys, thank you so much for all the bits there. Now I gotta pick a stream. Let's see if we have any new people there. Give me 1 second here. We're gonna go raid. Hopefully we can find somebody who is new playing the stream. Ooh, last diameter. See, he struck out last time. I rated him on Wednesday with like 80 people or something, and he was AFK the entire time.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Let me see how many followers each of these guys have. If all these low people are over, I'll just do a roll. If they all have like their 75 followers. Oh, 118 followers. Ooh, Vic Cannon has 74. I think that may be our winner there. Vic Cannon. It looks like he's in the real dungeon scene, so let's give him a try. Vic Cannon. Alright, and I will sing you guys out here. I know you're excited about that. Okay, loading up for Vic Cannon. Guys, again, thank you for joining us on the stream. We'll get a few more of these bugs fixed in patches. Some will go live here shortly. I'm uploading the patch right now. We'll get some more, probably a few more things fixed tomorrow morning, then we'll get a few more things fixed next week early on. So guys, again, thank you. Yes, it looks like he's in the Rise, so that's a good one to watch. Although everything in the Rise is green to him, so he's got to be pretty high level. But anyways, go give him a follow.
Based on, like, Epitaph? It might be an Epitaph.
Is it Epitaph? I thought it was, yeah, maybe it is. But anyways, we got about 15 seconds here, 30 seconds, so I'm going to sing you guys out. I've never seen a diamond in the flesh. I cut my teeth on wedding rings in the movies, and I'm not proud of my address. In a torn up town, no postcode envy, but every song is like gold teeth, gray goose, tripping in the bathroom, bloodstains, ball gowns, trash in the hotel room, we don't care. We're driving Cadillacs in our dreams, but everybody's like crystal, Maybach, diamonds on your timepiece, jet planes, islands, tigers on a gold leash. And I think it's about to kick us off. One gone.
Farewell, everybody.
See you guys.